How to build AGL Cell and STR Goku and Gohan's hidden potential. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we have another hidden potential guide for the brand new EZAs for the 2022 Golden Week units, the AGL Cell and the STR Goku and Gohan. These guys recently got their EZAs, and man, are they good. So the only question remains, how should you build their hidden potential? So let's start by kind of taking a look at what they do. We're not going to fully break down every single thing here, as we did do that previously in our breakdown video, but just to kind of talk about the main things you need to know about their hidden potential that will, or their passive that will influence their hidden potential. So the thing with AGL Cell is he is greatly stacking attack in both his first form and his second form. Now this is hugely important because it is the only way he can increase his attack when he gets to perfect form. Once he achieves perfect form, he stops raising infinitely and only raises for the turn, which still can be good, but obviously you want to take advantage of that buildup that he gets in his first and second form. When he's in the first form, right, most of his passive is going to be activated for just one enemy. There are very few fights where you're going to be activating this portion of his passive, so we're not really too concerned with it. What we are concerned with is the additional super attacks that he is launching when you have 50 or more percent HP, right? He has a 50% chance of launching an additional super attack. When there, he also has his damage reduction rate and built-in critical hit along with dodge, so that's really helpful, right? So he begins with 50% chance to dodge, and as long as you're above 50%, he's got an additional 17%, so 67% chance to dodge, along with a little bit of DR and critical hit. Once he transforms into a second form, he gains guard, which is very helpful, allowing you to prioritize his super attacks over others thanks to that guard and that additional damage reduction rate that he has of 17%, along with his critical hits. And he launches an additional super attack once again with a 50% chance of becoming a super attack as long as you are 50% or more, still greatly raising his attack. He also has an additional damage reduction rate, chance of performing a critical hit, and evasion 18%. So here, once he's in second form, right, his DR is up to 35, his crit is up to 35, and his evasion is 35, so it's a little bit lower than it is in his base form, but it's made up for the fact that he has guard. Once he achieves perfect form, he has damage reduction rate and critical hit and evasion all 35%, and as long as you maintain that 50% or above, he has a 70% chance to do an additional super attack and an additional crit and evasion 35%, giving him 60% evasion, or 70% evasion and 70% critical hit. So what does this mean for his hidden potential? Well, I would assume it's pretty obvious, right? As an AGL type, he kind of leans heavy into let's scroll on down here on the Dokkan wiki, right? As an AGL type, he leans heavily into additional, meaning if you maximize additional, you're going to get 20 out of him, even more so if which equates to 40%, right? So a 40% chance of doing an additional super through his hidden potential, and up to 60 if you invest your additional skill orbs into them. So that would be my best recommendation for his skill here, right? You want to invest fully into the additional attack to allow him to build up those additionals when in first and second form, because it's the only way he's going to build his attack. An average of 2 supers per turn will result in a character that is easily hitting 60 to 70 million when he comes out at perfect form. So it's really, really helpful. The additional super will push him even further if you manage to proc the 3 each turn, which is not always guaranteed, but having that extra 60% chance to super definitely helps you get as close as possible. Now, given that he's got by perfect form, which is where this actually really matters, given that he has 70% chance to crit in perfect form, you do not need a critical hit investment in this character. You are probably going to be more beneficial through a dodge build. Now, you can lean into just the basic dodge and make up the rest in some critical hit in case he doesn't, in case he doesn't have. In case you need it in the early stages, like for example, you find yourself in battle hardened formidable foes using this, he's not going to be critting that often in his base form. Or if you find yourself below 50%, that additional critical hit through the skill orbs could be helpful. I don't recommend pulling it from his base hidden potential though. 6 on the evasion is the way to go, up to 16 if you want to add it through the skill orbs, or up to 6 on the, or up to 10 on the critical hit. It's up to you. Personally, that's how I have mine set up, so that way he can be utilized in all events while still maintaining some level of critical hit for him. But it's up to you, right? I have 2 builds for this character because I've rainbowed this guy several times over, and I do find that the one with the critical hit build does help more in the shorter events. But ultimately, it's up to you which way you want to go, but definitely mainly lean into the 30 additionals with your additional hidden potential. So that brings us to the STR Gohan and Goku, right? They just like the Cell are greatly raising attack while also getting an additional defense raise, and they can also, so that's really nice. So the nice thing about Goku is he stacks infinitely, and his transition to Gohan is at will, right? It's not immediate like with the Cell. It's an active skill that you can activate right after performing 3 or more super attacks. So you don't have to, you can let him stack as much as you want. His basic effects are just like real standard 200% attack and defense. For his first 5 turns, this is where it's really important. He has a 70% chance of crits, and he has a 70% chance to launch an additional super, and a 70% chance to evade. So he's got all of that built in for the first 5 turns. This makes him very useful in short content. But after that, he has a 50% chance to crit, 50% chance to additional super, and 50% chance to evade. Both of and the evasion is after super attack, so you're definitely not going slot 1. So he has the additionals built in. Once he exchanges into Gohan, though, not only does he gain guard, and as he gets hit, he builds more guard and more crits and more damage reduction, right? So once he guards 5 times, basically getting hit 5 times, he has guaranteed guard for the rest of battle. He has 10, so 30% damage reduction rate on top of a 50% damage reduction rate. A 58% damage reduction rate for that matter. Although after 3 turns, that drops off, right? You're going to lose this after 3 turns and then only have the 30%. But that's still pretty good combined with guard. And then by this point, he will have a 50% chance to crit. So with the 50% chance to crit, and again, this is additive, right? So 20, 10, 50. So by the time he's hit 5 times, he's going to have a guaranteed crit, along with a great chance to nullify any Ki Blast counters. So having that guaranteed crit happen once having this happen once you've gained the guaranteed crit is really, really nice, because his Ki Blast with ferocious power, that's a 400% multiplier. So given that, what do you want to build his hidden potential? Well, as an STR type, he naturally leans into crit, but as you can see, by the time where it matters, he's got crit built in, so you actually don't need crit in this guy. In fact, my best recommendation, like the Cell, is to go for the additional attacks. As an STR type, the best we're going to get out of him is 25 with skill orb investment, and that's going to give you a 50% chance to do an additional super. So that means on that initial, in that build up, right, he could get 3 supers per turn, greatly stacking. And remember, greatly stack is a 50% raise per turn. So very, very helpful. Like the cell, he doesn't need critical hit, as we can see. So the best thing to do is invest in dodge as his secondary, right? 6 if you don't want the skill orb investment, 16 if you can pull it off, obviously. But getting additional plus dodge skill orb is pretty rare, so most people probably going to go for the 6. I do not advise going and forgiving some of your additionals in favor of dodge. I definitely think that dodge is going to benefit him more, especially if you want to end up using him for something, say, like battle hardened formidable foes. So guys, that is it for the video. That is my recommendation for Cell and Gohan. Heavy on the additionals. Sub dodge is going to allow you to make the most of them no matter what event they're being brought into. So if you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, how did you build these 2 hidden potential? Would love to hear your comments and your builds in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.